So last video we were looking at some styles, and the style we chose to do was we specified that the body was going to get a background color of red, and you can see the format, the syntax of these braces, curly brackets for that. And also we specified the unordered list, the bullet point lists like this one here. Those get a background color of blue and it looks ugly. So let's do some things to make it look a little bit nicer. First things first, I don't really like the hard red and the hard blue. I'd like to be a bit more subtle, and you probably notice that there's a color picker here. You could use that. I'm choosing not to. I'm going to use color codes. So I've just hopped into Google. I typed in HTML color picker and it gives me this, and this lets me choose the color. Colors are specified in channels of red, green and blue. So this is red, and it's the first channel red goes from 0, the numbers go from 0 to 255. So this is maximum red, minimum blue, green, minimum blue. So I can specify something a little bit more subtle perhaps. You can see this is this mix of red, green and blue. And this is the color code that I'm choosing to use rather than using the RGB or the RGBA function. Nothing wrong with those functions, I'm just choosing to do it this way. So I'm going to replace the red with that color there. And also let's go and pick a different color for the unordered lists. I think something slightly bluish but also a nice subtle backgroundish kind of color. I'm going to copy that code, put that back into here. So background color for the unordered list is that color there. Let's just see what that looks like. Go back to here, I did a Control S, do a refresh. Yeah, that's all right, a bit more subtle. Now I can do other things as well. So for instance, I'm going to specify for these unordered lists that they're going to get a font color which is different. So I don't need to do a new one, I can do it for the same thing. These brackets define every style that's going to be applied to the unordered list. Already we've got background color, semicolon finishes that line. I hit enter and I can specify font color, although you just say color. And let's pick something a little bit, I'm just going to find something reasonably light. Orangey. Let's see what that looks like, shall we? You know, again, I could go to the HTML color picker and pick something, see what that looks like. Not convinced. It'll do for now. Right, so the point of that though was to show that you can specify multiple styles for a single element. Now let's look at maybe fonts, and let's specify that the whole page, the whole body of the page is going to get a font. Now fonts you can specify in a couple of different ways. I'm going to say font, and I'm going to go with, well, it's hard to look actually I'm going to go with font family, which is probably the better thing to do. Font family. And I think what I'm going to go with is this whole Arial Helvetica sans serif one here. Basically what it does, it looks to check, have you got the Arial font installed? If you have, it uses that. Next it goes down to check the Helvetica, and finally it just picks a sans serif font. So we'll select that one. So it's going to be a sans serif font. We'll talk a little bit about what that means in class. So the whole page is now sans serif, which I much prefer, to be quite honest. And perhaps while I'm here, I'm just going to add a bit of padding to the body because I think that is a really nice thing to do. So I'm going to go back to, where am I? I've lost my cursor for the moment. Found it. So the body, I'm going to specify padding. And padding is in pixels, and I'm just going to put maybe 50 pixels everywhere, px for pixels. So if I save that and again go back here and refresh, so it's put 50 pixels at the side here, 50 pixels at this side here, also puts 50 pixels at the top and the bottom. Not sure I want these 50 pixels at the top, so I'm going to do something slightly different. You know, you do a lot of fiddling around this. I'm going to change that to being padding left 50 pixels and padding right 50 pixels. So I won't have the padding at the top and the bottom. Control S. So it looked the same at the sides, but I've lost the 50 pixels at the top. It's getting better, and I think I'll just put a little bit of padding around these unordered lists. These are a little bit tight, I feel. You know, the text is quite densely distributed there. So hop back into here, and the unordered list is going to get padding, and I'm just going to put maybe 4 pixels around. Actually, I don't want to do it on the unordered list. I want to do it the items within the list, don't I? So I'm going to take that padding 4 pixels, cut that out of there, tidy up the spaces, cool. And I'm going to give each list item, every single list item, and that's going to be on all of the unordered lists, because I've got one here, then I've got another one here, and another one here. Every single list item is going to pick up 4 pixels of padding. Let's have a look at what that looks like. I prefer that. Yeah, it's still pretty ugly. We can keep working on it, but I think that's enough for this video.